Hey folks, welcome back to Military Forces Unleashed, your go-to for everything that flies, floats, or rolls with a big stick. Today, we're diving into a bird you've probably never heard of, but should. Meet the Kawasaki EC-1, Japan's answer to modern electronic warfare. You know, the kind of warfare where no one hears a shot, but entire armies go blind and deaf. Yeah, it's that cool. Buckle up, this one's a wild ride. So, in today's video, we'll break down what makes this plane tick, why it's a key player in Japan's defense strategy, and, of course, whether it lives up to the hype. Spoiler alert, it's not perfect, but it's got some tricks up its sleeve. Now, before we geek out over specs, let's rewind a bit. Picture Japan in the 1970s. The Cold War is in full swing, and every major power is flexing its muscles, not just with guns and tanks, but with electronic warfare. EW. The US had its fancy EC-130, and the Soviets weren't far behind. Japan? Well, they had to catch up fast. Enter the Kawasaki C-1, a solid workhorse for troop transport. But by the 1980s, someone had a light bulb moment. Why not tweak this thing into an EW platform? Fast forward to 1991, and the EC-1 was born. Think of it as the nerdy cousin of the C-1. Same body, but packed with gadgets designed to mess with enemy radars, communications, and basically any electronic system unlucky enough to cross its path. It's not glamorous, but who needs glamour when you can fry circuits from 10,000 feet? The EC-1 didn't just get a makeover, it got a whole new brain. Engineers ripped out the troop seats and crammed in racks of electronic wizardry. You've got signal jammers, radar detectors, and enough antennas to make a porcupine jealous. Fun fact, the EC-1 was Japan's first dedicated EW aircraft. No pressure, right? What's interesting is how low-key this project stayed. While other nations were showing off their shiny new toys, Japan kept the EC-1 under wraps. It's like they wanted it to be the ultimate quiet professional. And in a way, that makes sense. When your job is to disrupt enemy systems, stealth isn't just a perk, it's essential. Let's talk about what really makes the Kawasaki EC-1 tick. This isn't your average cargo plane. Sure, it shares the same airframe as the C-1, but everything else, totally different beast. First up, those antennae pods. They're scattered all over the fuselage like someone went nuts with a sci-fi prop set. But each one serves a purpose: intercepting, jamming, or even spoofing enemy signals. The cockpit? Packed with screens and switches that control all the electronic wizardry. The crew isn't just flying the plane, they're running a tech war from the sky. Think of it as a flying IT department, but instead of fixing your Wi-Fi, they're nuking enemy networks. Range and speed? Nothing to write home about. Just enough to get in, do the job, and get out. But here's the kicker. The EC-1 doesn't need to go fast or far. Its power lies in its ability to hang out at a distance and mess with the enemy's day from afar. You know that annoying friend who changes the Wi-Fi password just to mess with you? The EC-1 is that friend, but on a national security level. Now, let's get nerdy. The EC-1 is all about electronic countermeasures, ECM. In layman's terms, it screws with enemy sensors. Radars think they're seeing ghosts, radios pick up static, and missile guidance systems go haywire. And it's all done with a wave of invisible energy. Pretty slick, right? But here's where things get fun. The spoofing tech. The EC-1 can make enemy radars think they're seeing an entire squadron instead of a single plane. It's like that scene in every heist movie where the thief loops the security camera footage. Only this time, the stakes are a bit higher. The jammers on board are also top-notch. They can disrupt everything from ground-based radar to air-to-air comms. Basically, if it sends a signal, the EC-1 can mess with it. It's a tech nerd's dream, and a nightmare for anyone on the receiving end. While the EC-1 hasn't seen combat, thankfully, its role in joint exercises has been crucial. Think of it as the ultimate support player, setting the stage for fighters and bombers to do their thing without interference. In war games, it's the unsung hero that ensures the enemy's fancy toys stay in the box. Imagine a scenario where an enemy radar locks onto a Japanese fighter. Suddenly, the EC-1 kicks in, and that radar starts seeing double, or nothing at all. The fighter swoops in undetected, mission accomplished. That's the kind of impact we're talking about. All right, time to get real. Is the EC-1 a game changer? Yes and no. On the plus side, it's a dedicated EW platform, a rare beast in any air force. It brings a unique capability to the table, and in today's tech-driven battle space, that's invaluable. But it's not without flaws. For starters, range and endurance. The EC-1's relatively short legs mean it needs frequent refueling or a base nearby. Not ideal if you're planning long missions. Then there's the age factor. This bird was designed in the late 80s. While it's been updated, there's only so much you can do with an aging airframe. Maintenance? Let's just say it's not cheap. All that tech requires constant TLC, and parts aren't exactly lying around at the local hardware store. Still, when it works, it works. And in the world of electronic warfare, that's all that matters. So, what's the verdict on the Kawasaki EC-1? It's not flashy, it's not fast, but damn if it isn't effective. In a world where information is power, this plane is the ultimate disruptor. Sure, it's got its quirks, but who doesn't? If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button and subscribe for more no BS military content. Got thoughts on the EC-1 or ideas for our next video? Drop them in the comments. Let's keep the conversation going. Thanks for watching, folks. Your support keeps this channel flying high, just like the EC-1. Catch you in the next one. Stay safe and stay curious.